along. I thought everyone would be joining online.
All right.
You're right.
Yeah, thanks.
Are you happy that gives us a quorum, Max?
I think this is a quorum now. It would be nice to have James here as well, obviously, but I think this counts as a quorum.
Shall we either behind me or
Cool.
no?
All right. I reckon we give it 1 more minute.
Here's James now.
There's James. Cool.
Hey, James.
Hey, everyone.
Cool. We'll kick into it then. So welcome everybody to the Out of Cycle RTC committee meeting, today being the 25th of August. Just wanted to note everyone's attendance for an Out of Cycle meeting and obviously the change in time around the DWC AGM. So appreciate everyone making that work, and noting James might have to vacate due to travel requirements. Also just wanted to note before we started, in lieu of a Chairs report, the body of work undertaken by the South Island RTC Chairs group of late on behalf of the South Island, including us on the West Coast. There are no apologies I've received. Does anybody else have any? I'll take that as a no. Declarations of interest, are there any for this meeting? Perfect. We will move into reports. Item 4.1, the Regional Land Transport Plan Engagement Summary, noting we have 3 appendix there as well. And just wanted to, before I hand over to Max, thank him for his work he's done following the feedback we gave at the last of these committee meetings. Hence, we're having an out of cycle one today. So Max Dickens, Policy Manager.
Thanks, Ashley. So I'd like to return with the engagement summary and the request for the approval on our draft RLTP visions and objectives for us to be able to continue drafting up the 2027 RLTP. So I'm quite happy to go into some discussion around some of the changes which we've made. So I tried to reflect some of the feedback I got from the last workshop, and I think we've done I'm quite happy with where we've ended up landing. I think we've reflected the 2024 GPS quite well, and the sort of reality of the current funding environment which we're working in. So I'm happy to open it to the floor. I've also attached the updated slides to the report this time, so that we have them all there for reference for approval. So, and I've circulated the memo yesterday with some information regarding our total mobility uptake in particular, and the statement on land transport investment from the Minister of Transport too, regarding the expectations around sort of land transport revenue and spending as well, and how there's going to be an expectation that we'll be moving away from pound funding by 2030 at present, although I'm not really sure how that's going to work, but yeah. So happy to discuss.
Perfect. Thanks for that, Max. Happy to open the floor. Just wanted to acknowledge the tweaks you've made to the vision, and I like where it lands now, noting that importance of obviously the community as well as our industry on the coast.
Thank you. I've really tried to reflect. It's been quite hard. I've been trying to balance the feedback we've been getting from the community, which is, I mean, we had a speaker at the last one about wanting some more active transport links, and obviously we've got a quite vocal and I'd say slowly increasing voice requesting some form of public transport too. But also the reality is that in the current funding environment, that's going to be quite hard to manage. So one of the ways that I think us and the 3 district councils can manage that will be through a relatively, quote unquote, realistic funding bid as part of our continuous programs, but then putting in some bids for improvement projects as well. And then if there are a change in priorities, or if some money does materialize, then we'll be able to have those bids in there. There isn't really any harm in having a bid in with NZTA for the NLTP for some nice to have projects too. But I'll be working with the district councils as well on all of that. So yeah, other than that, I mean, if there's no further discussion, I'm quite happy to move that we approve the vision and objectives.
I'm happy to second that. I think you've covered it quite well.
Thank
It
you.
is a challenge. The current funding environment, there's no way that our communities could afford trans service, but I think you've covered those aspects there. Yeah, our biggest issues are the engagement has come through quite clear, but we kind of know it, don't we? So as well.
Thank you.
Anything else from anyone else before we move to those motions? Perfect. So I'll just read them all out so we're clear. We have three on the table. One being to receive the report, two being to approve the draft 2027 RLTP vision, and three being to approve the draft 2027 RLTP objectives. A, approve the draft objectives weightings, and B, approve the development of supporting policies and priorities. I'm happy to move that from the chair. Tanya, are you happy to still
Yeah,
second
happy
that
to
as a
second.
collective? Cool.
Thank you.
Welcome, Lady Lash.
Afternoon, my apologies.
No worries.
Oh,
You found it very well.
well, there's only so much driving you can do while you're on the phone, isn't there, when you have to pull over and you realise you've got a traffic officer behind you.
Maybe he's gone through police.
They weren't, but I wasn't going to push my luck. So my apologies.
No worries. That is the end of the formalities, so to speak. We do have general business on the agenda if there's anything else anyone else wanted to raise. Otherwise, we will look to close the meeting.
You've been kidding me.
No,
Oh,
she
bloody hell.
was a slim agenda.
It was just to get approved on RLTP.
Right, okay, that's cool.
I suppose the only thing I'd add is that I'll be working closely with, just thanks to all the district councils, Carl, Ganesh, and Paddy. They're all absolutely brilliant. And thanks to Kyra as well for, checking in while she was on leave as well to keep this whole thing rolling along. So thank you, everybody. I apologise for dragging you all the way up for 30 seconds.
It's all good. I've got other things I can do.
Okay.
No other general business from anyone else? And Helen, you don't have anything else you'd like to comment on those reports?
Now, Phil's got his hand up there, Ash.
Cool. Phil?
Yeah, look, it's just by way of an observation, I guess, acknowledging all the pressure that's on the funding and lack of funding for improvement, if you like, or certainly new work. I guess it's just going to absolutely reinforce the need for really good spatial planning moving forward, because that's going to obviously be the basis for any cohesive bids that we make moving forward. So, I know it's being discussed at our table. No real progress on it yet. I'm sure it's happening around the rest of the region. And it's something that another piece of work that we obviously are faced moving forward on, but it's going to be really important to how this committee can put forward together meaningful bids. Just an observation.
Point well
We
made.
had this discussion last night, well, with the Premier's Chiefs and we discussed the other day that we're going to have a workshop and we're going to bring all the councillors in to discuss that at some stage, but
Yeah.
that's now we have rates capped, and if we're looking at a process like the TPP, it's something that we're all going to have to look at, because that's all good and well to say, but how can our communities go for it? But it's a little bit, isn't it, off track of where we are, but it's something to be thinking about.
Definitely. Sorry, and just throwing back to Helen, did you have any comments on the reports that you want to make now, even though we've moved and approved them?
No, quite happy with the Ash. I just, actually, as Tanya just said, with the rates cap now, that's, God knows what that's going to mean, how we maintain it, let alone there won't be room for doing anything new, especially when they're talking per capita. I've got my team just running through some figures for me at the moment and what that looks like. At least it's not till 2029, but I don't know how the hell we're going to sort of move forward with that, but it's just a conversation we're going to have and make sure it fits in across everything, all our business.
Yeah, an interesting change in progression there as well.
And I just hope the weather event doesn't bring any roads down, like in particular in Southwest. And I'm thinking of one in particular. I'm just seeing James smile and I know, but a horrific amount of rainfall forecasted around one specific area there, which I just weighing up whether to close the road tonight or not, so,
Yeah, I'm watching it closely, Helen.
yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to. I'm not sure how it's all going to balance out really, funding wise.
Yeah.
Between, I mean, if we're forecasting having less crown top ups, and I know that the fuel excise duty is reducing as well at the minute because so many more people are driving hybrids too.
Mm.
So, yeah, and there's an increasing severe weather events. It's going to be a hard one to balance. So I'm quite happy with how we've tried to reflect that in our RLTP, just maintenance of what we've got as best as we can.
Well, at least one indication the government's given with the rates cap is that severe weather events or damage from them will be covered separately, not coming out of current funds, so. That's one saving grace, but it certainly isn't the answer for what we've got to manage going forward.
About 21 deferred bridges in the Grey District for a start,
Yeah.
like there's infrastructure's just gonna keep getting
Yeah.
deferred.
I wonder if I might, Mr. Chairman, just make a few comments, just given that we're here and that sort of thing, because, you know, these are just my sort of thoughts and observations around the transport function here on the West Coast. I'll start with public transport. Firstly, critical in our towns of both Hoki, Westport and Greymouth, critical to disabled people, elderly people that don't drive is the total mobility scheme. It's a lifeline for them. You talk to Greymouth taxis, it's how the elderly get to the doctors and the supermarket, and without that, they're totally cut off. You know, and the subsidies make it affordable for them. So in the absence of public transport, total mobility is critical for our people in our towns. Unfortunately, there is some issues around, you know, people in say Hoki, you know, having some sort of way, affordable way and accessible way of getting up to the Grey Base Hospital and all those sorts of things, and we're hearing a bit more about that. But that's for the health system, I think, to solve as well there. In terms of public transport, can I just make sure you understand that if you go to places like, you know, the big public transport suppliers of regional councils like Greater Wellington, Environment Canterbury, that have big bus networks, let alone Wellington with train networks. Greater Wellington spends 75 to 80% of its total expenditure on transport. Okay, that's how much it takes of their expenditure. And Max and James, correct me if I'm wrong, but for every trip in a bus in Wellington, it's actually subsidised by 70 to 80%. Is that about right, Max?
Roughly.
Roughly.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm generalising, but
Yeah.
it's certainly not, you know, the user is not certainly not paying 70 or 80% and then the subsidy is 20%. It's the other way round. Yeah. But what it does do is it takes a lot of congestion off those big city roads and all those sorts of things. But if we, you know, and don't think that if we were to offer a public transport system here, that our numbers would look anything different. We would have to find money to subsidise a bus service of around 70 to 80%, right? And again, you know, as we're sort of talking about here, rates capping, I don't know, we couldn't find that money.
Convenience
No.
count, just
You know,
something.
we couldn't find it. And it comes back to total mobility being the mainstay of getting our disabled and elderly people around. Coming out of public transport and into transport more generally, our number one issue on the West Coast is resiliency and replacement of our networks, which is resiliency, right? So what they're starting to talk about in local government around the country is we've heard about the infrastructure deficit and the lack of renewals and upgrades that need to go on in the Three Waters space. They're starting to talk about bridges being even bigger and more costly than even Three Waters once that is quantified. So what's happening around the country is a lot of our bridges were built in the 50s and 60s. They're all coming towards needing significant maintenance or life. And right around in local government in the country, those bridges is a bow wave of expenditure that's coming at us. That does speak to resiliency, but it also speaks to economic development, especially if you raise the weight limits and the trucks have to go around the long way from Western Milk, you know, to get milk in and things like that. And Mark Lockington has got a long list of bridges that he can cite, you know, in all the districts actually, including across into Canterbury.
Mm.
Around what their future expansion plans there, and probably Andy knows that, pretty well, eh? So, and then Knights Point and those sorts of things. So resiliency is our number one issue on our roading network, and all we can do is put up our transport plan, advocate, as Mayor Lash does in your district and other mayors, really hard for what we need for resiliency of our network, and the fact that we're a critical part of New Zealand's tourism story and infrastructure and GDP with the tourism trail that we're on. Because as we know, you close that road down there, and the tourism is challenged, eh? And so from a transport perspective, that's what that is. We don't have high vehicle movements on the roads and volumes, which is a good thing. Like the bigger centres in that, but resilience is our number one issue, and I worry about the growing deficit in maintenance and replacement of the assets. So if I was to characterise our transport story here on the coast, both from a public transport point of view and a land transport, that's what I've observed. I'm sure there's a whole lot more detail that Max could talk to and behind that, but if I was to summarise it at the top level, that's what I would say we need to focus on.
Which is what the report says.
Yeah. Appreciate those comments, Daryl.
Thank you.
If there isn't anything else from anyone else probably not reply to that, but on top of that, we will free you all up to enjoy a free hour and 12 minutes of your day back in credit.
Can I just have a comment through the chair?
More than welcome to, Andy.
Like these weather events and that, like we get big slips across the road and it's all got to be carted away. And like we've had 2 instances on our farm where the slips come into our paddock, and if they come and saw us, I wouldn't have a problem with them just throwing the debris onto our paddock and level it out, and it'd be 1/10 of the cost. Saving a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of delays on that road.
You
So
did
they
right.
seem
There's the fiscal saving there, but there's also the time saving if they're carting to somewhere they can actually drop it. I know that's been a challenge in the past, Helen. You've done some work on in previous ones further south, especially when you've got Department of Conservation as the, depending on where it falls on the road.
We had that in the Haas Pass area not long ago, and the big thing is that for the contractors, that's where they can make some serious coin.
Right.
So they can take advantage of the situation very quickly.
But it's a horrendous cost.
It is.
All right. I'm happy to look into that and follow up.
Yeah.
See if there's anything I can do, because I do think that I'm pretty sure that they've released some they've changed the contracting rules recently. So I can see if that can be included in it. So
But sometimes it comes down to DOC, because if DOC won't permit, I think in the Haas Pass, James, we had that where they had to cart it,
Yep, Matty Creek in
k's
particular.
away,
Yep,
Yeah.
100%.
and the cost of that was exorbitant, when they could have, deposited it a lot
Yeah,
closer.
a combination of dock and whatever the the consenting rules are, whether an emergency has been invoked and whether we can use emergency provisions or not. It just depends each time. Each time's different.
I mean, one argument for that is if the road wasn't there, where would that slip go?
Yeah, they're not your
It
land.
wouldn't get moved, would it?
No, it's steady,
It'd go where it lands.
yes.
So it fell off, so you just need to get it right.
But in saying that, I think DOC are starting to be a bit more receptive, because we've got that Knights Point, James, where there's no talk of depositing over the bank. It's all going to go into fill in the gullies. So
Yeah, as I say, we just need to work through it at each site.
yeah,
and at the next committee meeting, I'm looking to put together a bit more detailed information about bridges as well. So
awful lot of them. I've got 286 of them, and that's not even on NZTA roading.
wow.
We'll see what these trucks are talking about is like they're 50-ton max or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're only allowed to cross a bridge 30-ton.
Right.
They're getting around half loaded, but they're still paying their road users up to the maximum weight. So
But are they honouring that going across with the correct weight or not?
well,
We're presuming and hoping they might be, but that can't be helping the wear and tear on the bridges.
they're taking the risk that they'll get caught.
Or the fine probably under is not relevant to the success of getting that freight through. I just think if we have bigger trucks, more axles on the road, carrying more weight, that would, and to me, indicate they won't be complying with weight restrictions that readily. And I think that somebody else needs to cough up and contribute towards this, because it's our roads that are being damaged with this. I'm not saying NZTA, I'm talking the government there, James.
I
Well, a
understood.
lot of them roads weren't built.
No, they weren't.
Either were they.
No.
No.
Was it, I think it was 2011, the heavy max came in, James, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, Max, I can't remember, to be honest. About then it was Joyce.
Cool.
Great. We will call things to a close at 2:22. Thank you everyone for your attendance, and things will be circulated ahead of the next meeting, and we look forward to seeing you all then.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers, everyone.
Oh, now we wait for the weather.
Oh, Christ.
I bet